Hey guys, it's Kelly. I am back with another process video. Bear with me today. This process video has been kind of forgotten about and neglected. I did this page months ago and still thought that I wanted to go ahead and put it up on my channel because I do love the layout. The file that I am using is from Justnik, and I just thought that the saying was so neat and appropriate for so many things. And I wanted to play with my shimmers, and I cut the file out with watercolor paper. So when I ordered from Shimmers, I just ordered one set of their watercolors, and it came with white. And I knew when I ordered it that I probably wouldn't use it very much, but I decided to, try it and see how it worked on this file because I thought, a cloud, it's perfect, let's see. And it was amazing. It was so much better than I had even hoped and thought that it would be. So when I'm looking through the letters or the words that I've cut out from the file as well, my thought was to bring continuity to some of the words while the pattern paper would give the emphasis on what I felt like were the more important words in the quote. So I chose just one of the colors, one of the watercolors to use for the words that weren't exactly the most important ones. And then I'm just taking the white, and I've forgotten the name, I'm sorry. If I remember, I will try to link it up in the details below. But I'm just using the white to add a little bit of more shimmer and highlight on those words. And because it takes me a very long time, with waiting for it to dry and then gluing down the words on top of the cut file, I just cut that out. But I love the way that it came out. It was exactly what I had in mind and a little bit more. So I am taking my quick dry adhesive and my fine liner and just going to finish gluing the file down. I wanted it to be somewhat of a clean layout even with the watercolors, and I knew that I wasn't going to add any more to the page. So I know that I've seen some people have been having issues with their fine liner bottle, or are they questioning which bottle to buy. The yellow top is a smaller number. It's an 18 gauge, but that means that the opening is larger. So it's just a little opposite of what you would think. So that one is the one that I find works best for me with the Scotch Quick Dry adhesive. And I also find that if I am not using it repeatedly like I am now, that I need to put the top back on it. The glue will dry quickly in the tip if you don't, put the top back on it. That's the caveat with this. I have forgotten to do that, and I have found that when I do it, I just take a safety pin or something of a smaller diameter than the tip that goes in, and it easily unclogs for me. So, knowing how to best use it, I've finally figured out that that's what works for me. Is I can use it pretty much like I am now, and once I know that I'm done with the gluing, I should put the top back on. So I was trying to decide which photo to use. The quote with the laugh lots just made me think of my daughter. She is quite silly in some of the pictures that I take, and I knew that I had a couple that I have been wanting to scrapbook, and I ended up choosing the one of her and her friend because they are definitely silly girls when they get together, and it is very sweet to watch them. And I also thought that the black and white just looked a little bit better on this page with all of the different colors of the pattern papers. The colored photo would have definitely worked. I just felt like the black and white made more of a statement. So I'm going through my paper pad and trying to figure out which papers that I want to use. And while I hadn't necessarily thought of it, I really liked the way that this darker blue paper looked underneath the photo and decided to use that as another photo mat underneath the photo. And I felt like it just grounded the picture a little bit more. Usually I am just happy with the white border around the photo, but for whatever reason, I felt like that it needed something, and it just really worked well. So because it's somewhat of a whimsical saying, I decided to make it a little bit more of a whimsical layout between the watercolors. I went ahead and tilted the photo. I don't always tilt the photos. As a matter of fact, most of the time I don't, but I really try to let the layout speak to me. I don't do a lot of planning for my pages. It's just, I want to see how it comes together and what feels right and what looks right to me at that time, because I am the type of person that I swear if you were to give me the same product and the same photo on 2 different days, you would get 2 different layouts. It just depends on, I guess, my mood and what is inspiring me at the moment. So that's just kind of what works for me and makes the process enjoyable. So I went through the die cuts rather quickly just to see if there was anything I could use, and I didn't really see anything that I felt like added to the layout. I just tend to do, I guess, more cleaner pages. When I have embellishment clusters, I try to make each little bit have a purpose, or, whether it's to ground or whether it's to make the cluster a little bit bigger or to add something to it. And I just didn't feel like I could really get anything to work on the page. And at this point, it's where I'm kind of stumbling through trying to figure out what I'm doing with the page, what I need to do, and I'm not really loving the little plus signs that I put down. So I decided that I wanted to add a little dimension to the photo, but still be able to tuck it under the cut file. So I just cut a little bit of craft foam for the top. And I am playing around with the color of buttons, where do I want to put them? The hearts that are on the cut file were logical places to have some clusters. And just, I'm not quite sure what I'm doing at this point, and that's okay. I did pull off this little chipboard phrase and felt like that did good at grounding it. And at this point, I realized that I needed to frame the page. And I didn't want to necessarily cut the layout down, which I do quite a bit, but I felt like if I put, the strip of paper at the top and at the bottom, that it would help. And immediately I feel like my layout looks a ton better. So I'm just trimming them down a little bit because I didn't want them to be too thick. And, what I'm trying to figure out now is I want to use the plus signs, but I wasn't really digging the way that they were. And I was trying to get the colors balanced between, having that darker teal and the greens. I'd like them to be placed around the layout a little bit. And I end up moving up the little X's or plus signs, whatever you call them, up on the photo. And I like that so much better. And then I moved the others up on that top strip of paper. And that's when I felt like my layout was really starting to come together. The strips of paper, I kept the same pattern, which I don't usually do. I like to mix it up. But on this one, because there were so many different patterns in the phrase, I wanted to just add to the layout. I didn't want to add so much that your eye didn't know where to look first. So at this point, I'm just figuring out my final placement on that heart and the button, and I'm going to pull some crochet twine out just to tie a little bow on the button and make it look a little bit more finished. And that's pretty much it. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I hope you guys have a great day. I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.